I know you said you worked directly with Russell Brunson. A lot of people I've been to probably 5 funnel hacking lives. We actually have a funnel builder. We just launched a funnel builder inside of DashClicks, so very familiar with the world of funnels. Russell Brunson, I've learned so much from him. What is it like working directly with him? Unlock the secret sauce of millionaire entrepreneurs. This is your exclusive VIP pass to the hidden world of the ultra successful business owners. I'm Chad Kaderi, CEO of DashClicks, and welcome to Behind the Revenue. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we have Kevin Anson on for another episode of Behind the Revenue. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us today. If you can, just give a quick intro, tell the audience who you are, what you do.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So we do video ads. So we do primarily video ad creatives. And I've been producing videos myself since 2004. So it's been a while. And about 7 years ago, I got into advertising after having the good fortune of working with Russell Brunson, and started to learn everything that I possibly could about marketing, human psychology. And then I took my video skills and mixed that with marketing skills and really just kind of changed my journey into making video ads. And so, yeah, we've produced thousands upon thousands of ads over the last 20 years.
Let me ask you a quick question. What is it? I know you said you worked directly with Russell Brunson. A lot of people I've been to probably 5 funnel hacking lives. We actually have a funnel builder. We just launched a funnel builder inside of DashClicks, so very familiar with the world of funnels. Russell Brunson, I've learned so much from him. What is it like working directly with him?
So in the beginning, it was really cool. I mean, it was like we were talking every single day on Voxer. We were, I was making videos, sending them directly to him. I was sending my invoices to him. This is 7 years ago. And ClickFunnels was still really well known at the time. He had published 2 books. And he's just an amazing guy. I got to go out to Boise, hang out in the offices. Went out there multiple times. And he's just like, when I call somebody that I can get along with, I call him a bro. I'm like, he's a total bro. Like, he really is. He's down to earth. He says, dude. He doesn't cuss, but he's just a cool guy. Like, you can hang out with him and shoot the crap. And he's just, yeah, I mean, to this day, I talk to him every once in a while now, but every time I do, he's just a really good father, entrepreneur. I consider him a friend, and yeah, he's a great guy.
When Russell Brunson comes up to you and asks you for a video, is he giving you specific instructions? Does he know exactly what he's looking for? Or are you guys just taking the creative angle and creating your own videos?
Typically, when we work directly with Russell and he wants us to create a video, he usually will write the script or give some sort of direction on it because, he's master copywriter. But when we work with ClickFunnels, we're working with their team. And so we have the opportunity to write the scripts ourselves, come up with the concepts. We'll just analyze their landing page, maybe look at their VSL, download their VSL, put it in, take that VSL and turn it into ads. So there's a little bit more freedom on that because we've done it so many times. So we know how to write copy. We know how to come up with the right angles and things like that. But yeah, there's a difference between working with Russell and working with ClickFunnels.
Fair enough. I also want to ask a question because on this podcast, I like to ask selfish questions for myself because I want to know the answers to these things. Like, I'll give you a quick example. Like, for us, we run a bunch of Facebook ads. Primarily Facebook and Instagram is really majority of where most of our ads spend. And then maybe a little bit on YouTube for like remarketing and stuff like that. What are you seeing right now in the video creation world that is absolutely crushing it for, let's just say, Facebook and IG? Like, what type of video formats?
Well, we have like 8 different ad types that we look at. I mean, we have frameworks for our ads, so we're not guessing anymore in regards to what types of ads we're creating. But typically it is, the ones that, they usually have a spokesperson. You're usually demonstrating, especially if it's for software, you're demonstrating how the software works. You want to talk about people's objections because everyone has them. It's like they think that it won't work for them because it takes too much time, costs too much money. It's not going to work for their specific situation, things like that. And so, that's a tough question to answer because every business is different. There's different offers. There's different ways that you have to speak to your people. Some businesses do really well when you pull out your smartphone and you're sitting in your car and you record an ad that way. Other businesses do better when you create a more highly polished ad that looks more professional because people are judging you upon how high of a quality your video ad is.
Yep.
So I mean, yeah, it's just varies. I can't give one answer and say this is going to work across the board, but I
So
would say that it's nice. It's good. It's a good idea to try both. So try a high quality one and try, or we call them UGC ads where it looks
yep.
more of like something that somebody made in the garage on their smartphone. So trying both is good.
So let's take a look at our ads framework because I want to dive deeper into this because I think it'll be fun, especially for the marketing guys out there. So right now we just started a brand new Facebook campaign, or kind of like a new strategy framework type thing. We started about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and the way that we're doing it is we split it up into 4 buckets. So we have our first bucket, which is our basically we just call it cold, warm, hot, and then remarketing would be the fourth bucket. So there's 4 buckets split up. In the first bucket, we're basically creating just educational ads, right? And for us at DashClicks, we do white label fulfillment, and we have a software company for marketing agencies, right? So we're targeting marketing agencies. So in the first bucket, we're really just educating people and warming them up, and we're doing video views as the conversion, right? So we're not no CTAs, we're not doing anything like that. It's just warming people up. And then in the hot bucket, we are or excuse me, the warm bucket, we're doing slight CTAs where we're kind of mixing it in, but we're not directly telling people, hey, click the link below. It's kind of like indirectly. And then in the hot bucket, this obviously we're going straight for offers, telling people basically to sign up, schedule a call. And then in the remarketing, obviously, is people who visit our website, right? Didn't sign up or didn't schedule a call, and just hitting them in the remarketing campaign. And what I'm seeing is for every different one of these different buckets, we're creating like different style videos, right? And for the first bucket, by the way, have you? I know a lot of people use very similar strategies like this, where you're essentially warming up and creating your own audience, creating almost your own level of fame in a way where you're just when somebody logs in, you're literally there every time they log into Facebook and Instagram. Um, my question for you is like in this specific type of strategy, like when you're bringing on, let's say, a client who's running a similar strategy like this, how do you go about it from like the video ads creation? Are you like, is your agency, is your company, are you guys the one that are actually going in and writing all of the scripts, creating the actual videos, plugging them into the Facebook ads manager? Like how deep do you guys get with that?
So we only go as far as delivering the video creatives. And so once the videos reach the ad buyer, that's when our job ends. But we do have ad buyers that we work with. But yeah, the creative process is analyzing the person's landing page, having them tell us a bunch of stuff about their ideal customer client, and figuring out like what makes them tick, right? Like who are they, male, female, how old are they, where do they live, things like that. What are their pains, desires, all that stuff. And then we will look at one of our ad types, whether it's like you mentioned educating, and that's one of our ad types. It's like the educator ad, right? So you're educating people on things that your software, not necessarily what your software can do, but it's like educating them on like marketing principles or like things that they could be doing in their business, and then you tee it up with like your software. Oh yeah, our software can actually help you with that, right? So
Yep.
you're creating that little segue. Or demonstrator ads, right? There's so many different features that your software has, and people don't know about it. They don't know how it works. They can visit your landing page, but they still won't really understand like how it works without booking a demo with you. And some people don't want to do that. So when you can tie that stuff into the video ad, where it's like you talk about one specific feature, it's like, look, this feature we have in our software, you can like, automatically, I don't know, chat with people over text message or something like that. And you show the feature, explain how it works inside of a video ad, and you're just hitting them with multiple features. I mean, if you look at a software like I don't know, like Kajabi, because I have them up on the screen, they've got
Yep.
hundreds of features, and so there's a lot of things that their software does that people don't know about. So you could create 20, 50 different ads, like just tackling different features, and you put those out on the internet as ads. And then there's that one video that someone sees, like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that it could do that. That's so cool. I'm signing up right now. Like
So
that's the one objection that
I
they
want
have.
to dive deep into what you just said. So like especially for business owners like myself, I'm the one creating a lot of the ads here at DashClicks, right? It's usually my face a lot of the times, or me creating the education, the materials, the videos, whatever it is, right? Business owners like me and you, we get sick of creating ads. It's very cumbersome to jump in front of the camera and
Mm-hmm.
start creating ads. And obviously AI is coming into the mix now, especially with videos and stuff like that. I'm going to leave that for a little bit later on in the conversation. But my question for you is, let's say like that specific strategy where you're like, hey, like DashClicks, we have tons of features, right? We have hundreds of features. Would you recommend us to go out and create like Loom videos? Because I've seen people create Loom videos, and then I see people take Loom videos and actually create full blown like videos with like overlays and effects and all that stuff. Like, what are you seeing work better right now, especially for software companies? Is it like the super raw videos where it's like, let me just whip open a quick 3-minute Loom video and show you this awesome, cool feature in the software? Or am I like professionally shooting this or professionally editing it post production?
The ones that we do a lot of videos for software companies. We will do a screen recording and then we will make it more fun to watch. Because if you sit there and record a Loom recording for 5 minutes and you go through a feature, um, it's just, I guess it's just not our style. A lot of people, I don't feel like, they don't like to watch that and sit through it unless it's something that they really, really need and they need to know how it works. But yeah, we're very precise in like what the messaging is saying, the screen recordings that we're showing on the screen. We're having big bold text overlays that are pointing out different features and how the simplicity of it and the speed of it, all the things that are like breaking down objections, excuse me, in people's heads. So yeah, we like to do a little bit more of the highly produced ones
Yep.
versus the simple ones. We just don't do those.
Yeah,
Um,
fair enough. And what, like, let's say for a business owner like myself, if I needed to shoot that video from you, what would you need from me? What assets would you need from me in order to get for you guys to be able to produce that?
Really, all we need is sometimes the client will just give us a login to the software and we can click around and figure it out ourselves. But yeah, we would just need a script from you. Well, we'll write the scripts, but we'll send you the script and then you record it. And if you want to just do a voiceover in your microphone, we could do that. We could use that as your voice. Or if you wanted to show up on camera, we could put you in the little circle in the bottom left or whatever, so we see your face.
Yep.
But yeah, that's all we need is a recording from a client, and then we're off to the races.
And I know obviously this is probably also somewhat of a generic question, but what are you seeing like video length as? We try to keep it under 1 minute, or does really depends on the video? What are you seeing now?
Our sweet spot right now is between 45 to 90 seconds. And so that's just the type of ads that we do. Very rarely are we creating an ad that's over 2 minutes. That's just
Yep.
what we've fallen into, what we've seen to work. We've noticed that anything over 2 minutes just is an unnecessary, unless you're really breaking down a complex process that people need to understand how it works. Then you can get into stuff a little bit longer. But our sweet spot 99.9% of the time is between 45 to 90 seconds.
Fair enough. All right, let's jump into AI because AI, especially in the last couple of podcasts we did, it's trending right now, pretty heavy.
Yeah.
I'll give you a fun. So I did a fun little project the other day. I told you before. I said I get sick of sitting in front of the camera and creating ads. Right? It's not fun for me to sit and create ads all day, especially when there's a thousand other things that I need to do. Right? So for me, I went out and I went to a company called HeyGen, which you might maybe
Mm-hmm.
probably be familiar with already. And I went out, basically cloned myself, and went to HeyGen. I'll walk you through the process, right? So I went to HeyGen, created an avatar of myself, and then I also fine tuned the avatar as well. I had to pay like $70 or something a month. Whatever, they fine tune it, they make it just sound better. Lip sync is better, right? Then I went to ChatGPT, created a script because at this point, if I was going to do it, I was going to really try to replace myself, right? So I needed to create a whole process out of it. Went to ChatGPT, created scripts using obviously, going back and forth with prompts and stuff to create really good style scripts that sound like me, but it just wasn't there yet. Like you can tell that it's AI, right? What are your thoughts? I mean, I know that. I mean, the reality is these things are only going to get better. They're not going to get worse,
Sure, sure.
right? So like 6 months, 12 months, like they're going to get it down to the point where like humans don't even need to create videos anymore. Like, what's your thought process on this? How do you think that this might affect maybe your business or your video production? What's in your mind?
For me, whenever I see a video that looks like it was generated on AI, specifically HeyGen, I can tell that it's AI, and it immediately discredits the company that is showing the ad.
Yep.
And I don't care how good the product is. and how much I need it, it just shows that they are cutting corners. It feels lazy to me. And I've seen a few ads like that, my team, or share it with other people. I'm like, check out this video. You could tell that it's AI, and it just does not, it doesn't feel good to me at all. So,
That's why,
I,
by the way, as a side note, we didn't publish the video that we created. Yeah,
yeah,
because it wasn't me, and I felt the same way.
yeah.
But I will say one thing. I will say that in 6 to 12 months, I mean, these companies are
Oh,
just going
yeah,
to get better and better and better,
for sure.
right? And I feel like a company like HeyGen, as an example, they're in the video world. Their goal is for you to replace yourself so you can create video content without actually physically having to be there. How do you think that that's going to affect video production? Like, we know that AI in the last 12 months has replaced content writers, right? Has replaced copy a lot, right? In a lot of industries. Now we see AI coming out with, like, I think, like Air.ai and like all these other companies that are eventually, right, probably going to replace customer service and things like that, right? Like, what are you seeing as the future of AI for video? Have you done any research on it? Have you seen anything that's alarming to you for your business?
Not necessarily. I think that it still has a long way to go, and it's a useful tool to help you get ideas and to kind of go from having a blank page to like, okay, now I have some ideas. I have some little snippets that I could use in my script. But when I sit down to write a script, I 100% write it with my own brain. I might go into Chat GPT, like I said, to get ideas, to get just something to push me along a little bit. But whenever I'm writing a script and I'm using AI, I'd say I'll probably use 20% of it, and then the rest of it's from me. So I think it's amazing for sure. And if it gets to a point where people can get away with using it, where it's a live human talking to the camera, and no one ever notices, then that's just the game. I mean, that's how it's going to go. And I
Yeah,
think that if you
I
can't tell,
think if I mean, it's only a matter of time, right?
oh yeah,
I like, if you rewind back and you think about the AI that we have right now, right? Where even like where HeyGen is and ChatGPT and all that stuff. Like, if you're on, 3 years back, people would have thought you were crazy that there would be something like this, right? Like, even as shitty as the video was from HeyGen, I still sent it to everybody. I posted it on social media because I was actually amazed by the technology, right, that it was outputting. Um, but I think that I really do strongly feel that in like a year, they're like, these AI companies, they're going to be fine tuned so well that it's going to be scary.
oh, I agree. I'm sure it'll get to that point pretty quickly. And yeah, I mean, even going back to the current people who are using it for their ads, I mean, all it takes is one comment on your ad, somebody calling you out saying that it's AI, and that's just, it's almost like a bad review in a way. It's just like discredits you so bad. Like, I mean, it's almost like you have to go in there and keep deleting comments if you want to keep that stuff clean.
Yep.
But yeah, for now it's not there, but I'm sure it will get there and no one's going to notice. And I've seen people do it with their organic content as well, and I can tell right away because it's just the way that it like blinks. It kind of blinks the same way every time, and you just know, you're like, this is AI, and then people are, slamming that person in the comments, and it feels disingenuous. But yeah, we'll get there. It's like I said, it's the game that we play, and if we can get away with it to buy our time back, then I mean, it's not going to stop people from doing it. So
Yep. I agree. So next topic that I have, I see that you also recently spoke at Funnel Hacking Live, which I think is so awesome and so cool. Can you walk me through the journey of you even getting the chance to do that? Like, what is it like? Like, do they reach out to you? Do you reach out to them? What is it? I know you obviously have past experiences with Russell, right? So I'm sure that definitely helped. But like, what was that like? What type of credentials do you need to get on that stage? And then what was it like also after? What was, like, speaking in front of 5,000 people? Did it help you? Did you get more exposure? Your following grow on social media? Did you get more business? Right? Can you walk me through that? Because I'm curious about it. I'm sure a lot of people are also curious.
yeah, getting asked to speak at Funnel Hacking Live isn't, what I've learned, isn't one of those things where you apply for it or you send them gifts in the mail to bug them to put you on stage. It's just one of those things that just has to happen. And lucky for me, I'm in that sort of niche where it fits into his plan with people that he needed to go on stage to speak on particular topics, because he has it all orchestrated in his head a year in advance. And he's like, okay, I need somebody to fulfill this piece and this piece and this piece. It's like, okay, Kevin
Wow,
Anson
really?
talks about video ads, and that fits into our plan perfectly. And so yeah, it's a message that I got from Russell himself. He's the one. He reaches out to people. He'll create a Loom recording and he'll just send it to a bunch of people and say, hey, I want you to speak on stage. This is what I want you to speak about. Are you interested? First of all, if you are, here's the next steps. And so, it was, I mean, I could get into all the details leading up to it. It was a really, really cool experience. I was nervous as hell
I'm
for
sure.
months leading up to it. Probably didn't even really work on my presentation or sit down fully committed to the presentation until it was about a month out, because I just didn't really know what I wanted to specifically talk about, because there's so much you can share, but you only have 15 minutes on stage or 20 minutes or whatever they allot you. And so I was changing my slides in my hotel room the
The
night
night
before.
before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I was like, oh no, I should probably take that out or put this in. So I've never spoken on stage in front of 5,000 people before. I think the most people I spoke in front of was, 25 people or 50 people at my brother's wedding. And so it's like huge step up, right? But I think it's just one of those things where if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing, right? And I knew that going into it. It's
Oh
like, I
yeah.
want to do this, even though my like subconscious is telling me like, don't do this. It's a terrible idea. You're gonna fail. But I wanted to overcome that, that hurdle. So it was really, really cool. And then afterwards,
The aftermath.
it was, yeah, it was amazing. I mean, you went from walking through the hall in Funnel Hacking Live, and there's thousands of people in the halls, no one really knowing who you are, like a few people here and there. But like afterwards, it was just, you have like a temporary celebrity status where you walk through the hall and people are like, oh, I saw your presentation. That was amazing. Can I get a picture with you? Or, can you send me some more information about how I can work with you? Things like that. And so, yeah, I had the notes app just full of people on my phone that I needed to follow up with afterwards. And
You
yeah, I
book a
made
lot of
like a ton
business
of,
from it?
what's that?
Did you book a lot of business from it?
Yeah, we booked a lot of business from it, and it's still happening to this day. People were signing up with our agency who saw me speak on stage. That was 4 months ago now. And so,
Dude,
it
speaking
was cool.
speaking helps tremendously.
Yeah.
I have a fun story that I'll tell that kind of relates to this, which is pretty funny. Um, so first and foremost, when I started DashClicks like 6 years ago, I was like the biggest introvert. I didn't like if you put me in a room full of people, I didn't want to speak to anyone. Like I was always that guy, and they were like, "He's an asshole." I'm like, "I'm not an asshole. I just like I'm shy. I don't want to speak to anybody. Like I just stay quiet and I listen." Right. Then my team was like, all right, we should start doing webinars. Like we need to like start getting some exposure. Let's start doing webinars. Let's start doing podcasts. Um, and then I remember this was probably like a year after we launched, right? So we were taking off pretty good. I was like, all right, screw it. We'll do a webinar. Like I've never done a webinar before. I'll try it. We signed up for Zoom. We did our first webinar. I think there was like 180 people that registered for the webinar, and maybe like half the people showed up. So it was like my first time speaking, really, like especially in like this remote environment, where it's a webinar and the chat's blowing up, and there's like I don't know, like whatever 90, 100 people on, right? And then after that, I kept doing the webinars, right? I would do them weekly. And I did that for a year straight. I did like 52 webinars in 1 year, every single week. I think it was like every Tuesday at 1 p.m. I would do a webinar. I was live doing a webinar because I was like, all right, if I'm going to do it, it's got to be like a consistent thing. I have to do it. We got it to the point where every time we did a webinar, we would get like 900 registrations, and like there was like 400 or 500 people live on the webinar and a couple thousand people watching the replays every single time. Right. So
Dang.
like one for listeners out there, like consistency is key. Like just keep doing the same thing over and over and over, and it'll start growing. But one of the things that happened was relating to your story is as I'm doing these webinars, a lot of the times throughout those 52 webinars, I would bring on special guests and we would do like a co-webinar where they would talk about like a specific strategy, right? Or a specific, topic in the industry, or whatever it is, right? And we would call it influencer secrets. It was like the guys that had the big followings and the big fame, we would bring them on and their audience would come on and watch, right? So it was a way for us to also get into their audience and tap into their audience. It was really cool. But then what happens is you become friends with those guys, and then those guys invite you to come speak to their event. So I
Mm-hmm.
remember one time I spoke at Ryan Stewman's event, This was a while back, and this was, I don't know, maybe like 4 years ago, right? And he flew me out to Texas to speak at one of his events. There was a couple hundred people there, and I remember leaving, and we booked a lot of business. And I think like this was like a month and a half ago. I remember looking at our Stripe account, and in Stripe, you can basically see your customer list, and you see who spent the most money with you, right? And the one guy that I met at the Ryan Stewman event was one of the people that spent the most money with us in the last 4 years. It was over six figures that he spent with us, right?
Jeez.
So it just goes to show you that these events, like, you don't realize it because a lot of the time it's not like instant, right? Where you're leaving, like you sign up 10 people, but like you said, like even till now, people are still coming up to you, or those businesses grows and then turns into referrals, right? There's so many good things that happen from speaking. That's why, I'll be honest with you, my secret motivation for this podcast is to get new users for our company, right? Is to get the following, is to get the exposure, right? And that's really what it's all about. Even now, I'm like, before I jumped on with you, I'm working on our webinar schedule for 2024, and we're going to do the same exact thing. This time I'm not doing 52. I'm going to, because it was too intense, I'm doing half that. So every 2 weeks we're going to be doing a live webinar, because they really help. Every time after I do a live webinar, revenue increases instantly within 24 to 48 hours for those specific days, right? So we get huge spikes. So speaking is great, and I think the biggest stage that I spoke on live in front of people was maybe like 400 people. But webinars, like, we've done challenges and stuff. We recently did a funnel freedom challenge, which was pretty cool, and there was like maybe 800 people there, agency, so like remote settings. But 5,000 people, I would probably shit my pants. Like 5,000 people is a lot of people. Like when you, how's it like within like a minute of you jumping on the stage? Is it like total chaos, where it's like they're miking you up and like you're behind the stage, and like, or are you like chill back there? Like, what's it like before jumping out onto the stage and like the doors open and all the smoke flies out?
Yeah, and I'll say, like, all the stuff that you were just saying right there, I completely agree. Getting yourself out there, putting yourself out there, even if it's uncomfortable, and doing it, forcing yourself to do it's uncomfortable. But the exposure that you get over time, it starts to build. 100% agree with that. But yeah, leading up to going and speaking on stage, I was surprisingly, like, the moments before I was about to go on, I was super calm. And I don't know if it's because I was just telling myself that, and I was like breathing and just trying to, like, calm myself down. I wasn't really nervous anymore. I think it was just because I was like, okay, I came this far. I'm already here. I'm not backing out now. Like, we're doing this thing. Plus, like, honestly, what helped me was they do what's called a I'm gonna forget the name of it, but they do like a walkthrough, right? So the morning of, you get to go up on stage,
Oh,
mic
that's
check is
cool.
what they call it. So they mic you up and they test just to make sure that you sound okay and all that. And so you're able to pace back and forth on the stage. You get to see where your slides are going to be, because there's like 8 different monitors across the stage
Yeah,
that only you can see. And you look out and it's just empty chairs, and you just think like, okay, well, everyone here wants me to succeed as much as I want them to succeed. Like, we're in this together, and there was like a calming effect there, and
that's
it
cool.
made me feel more comfortable, as opposed to if you're just to go out on stage and you had never been out there before, never stepped foot on that carpet. It was just a lot better having been able to go through that. But yeah,
That's awesome,
um,
dude. Well, congratulations to you on that. That's definitely a huge milestone. So a big win for you, and I'm assuming definitely your business too. A lot of good exposure for you. So
thank you.
we're rolling into 2024 now. What's your goals for this year? Like, what do you want to see at the end of 2024 for Kevin Anson and Ads on Fire?
So the goal this year is to build a few more things. Number one is the agency. So creating video ads for people. We are running ads right now, and I spent 3 days building funnels, getting it ready for ads, making some video ads of my own,
So you're
and getting
using
it
your
live.
own product.
Yeah, yeah. So um, building that, so like building the marketing system to make sure that we can get clients in, get clients on calls, and close more retainer clients, things like that. And then the second thing is I'm launching a new version of my video formula, which I sold in 2021 right after the pandemic hit. So I'm going to be doing probably like somewhere between like a 497 and 997 price point on that. And I'm really, really ramping it up.
Is
Like
that a
just,
course to show you how to create videos? What is that? What I'm assuming, is that what that is?
yeah, it's a course that talks about the 10 ingredients that we always think about when we're creating ads, and then the
Cool.
10 ad types. So there's different ingredients that go into different ad types. And so I already have this course. I've taught it. It's inside of Russell Brunson's inner circle. So all of his members have access to it right now. But I was just looking at it, getting feedback from people, and I'm like, this thing can be so much better. There's so much stuff that I can dive into more, specifically ChatGPT, even though I just said that I don't really use ChatGPT. But like for a lot of people who don't understand copywriting and they've never done this type of thing before, like they need to know like a starting point. Like if I tell ChatGPT this, like what can I say inside of my video ad? So I'm going to show them how to build out their own video scripts using my formulas.
All
And
the
then,
inputs, basically, you're creating all the inputs using
right,
ChatGPT.
right, exactly.
Cool.
And so it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to get them to, at least 80% of where they need to go to make sure that, they're saying the right things in their videos. So, yeah, so those are two of the biggest things that I have for this year: growing the agency and launching the new course. And I'll tell you this, like for anyone listening, anytime that I'm struggling as an entrepreneur, if I look at what I've been doing and my revenue's dropping, it's because I haven't built anything in a while. I swear, like every time I build something that goes out into the world, whether it's a course, putting video content out there, a new email sequence, an article, a new website, like whatever it is, building things is the number one thing that you can do as an entrepreneur to grow your business. Like I can't tell you, even if it doesn't work or if it fails or if it just isn't right the first time, any time that I've struggled is because I haven't built things. When the pandemic hit, my agency business completely tanked for about 3 to 6 months. We had no clients in because everyone's freaking out in the world.
Yep.
Like there's this huge pandemic happening. That's when I built my video formula course. I spent probably 3-4 weeks building that thing, worked my tail off on it, and then I sold it to 3,000 people. And then I was able to get, one of those awards for it. And so
Nice.
that fast forward a couple of years later, Russell asked me to speak on stage. Had I not built that course and didn't spend the time to do it, like I probably wouldn't even be talking to you. I wouldn't, like, all these things wouldn't have happened. Like it's just propelled my business so many different ways. So
You know what I've
building,
realized when you build things, just to
yeah.
piggyback off that, um, not only does revenue increase, I agree with you 100%, or like 100,000%, especially when we launch new products, especially if you're launching new products into an existing client base.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, you're going to see spikes for sure. But for me, what happens is momentum. Like, the momentum for me goes insane. It goes through the roof. Like, if I'm actively creating new things. So, like, I'll give you an
Mm-hmm.
example. My role here at DashClicks has definitely shifted over the last 6 years. Like, at first, it was, I was like, in it, like, I was basically in everything. Like I was in customer service, I was building the funnels, I was in marketing, I was in sales, I was doing literally everything in almost every department. Um, Now, obviously our team size is a little bit bigger. We're about 80 to 90 people full time right now at DashClicks. So that allowed me to step back basically and really focus on the things that I like to do. I catch myself primarily 90% of the time in marketing. So I'm dealing with the marketing and the sales for the company, like the front end, the front end aspect of the company. And for me, like what I do is I basically call it projects. I just work on projects all day. So like I'm like, okay, hey, real quick, if you're a marketing agency or a B2B service or software provider, DashClicks offers white label fulfillment services and software to businesses just like yourself. Go ahead and create your free DashClicks account. I went ahead and left a link in the show notes, or you could just go to dashclicks.com. I'm like just recently, I'm like, I'm going to redo the product tours for our software. And this is going to be like a 4-day project. I have to shoot a bunch of videos, right? Create copy and all this stuff. And it just becomes a project. And what happens for me is every time I release a project, I get like dopamine that
Yeah.
literally hits my brain. And I'm like, wow. And I just keep going. And like these projects, like for me, that's my euphoric moments, is when I complete projects, I push them off, I start gaining momentum. And the momentum for me, what happens is as I start gaining momentum, the revenue goes along with it. For like, it
Mm-hmm.
happens every single time. It happened also in DashClicks, where we were in the process of building our new software. So we went from version 1 to version 2, kind of similar to like what ClickFunnels just recently did, or there's a bunch of other softwares that transition, right? We stopped writing new code on V1 of DashClicks, and we literally started coding V2. So you can imagine how insane of a project that is to just stop something that's been running for like 4 years and build a completely new version of it from scratch. Right? It's insane.
Yeah.
For 2 years, I basically locked myself in my office, and I didn't do any webinars. I didn't do any lives. I wasn't basically doing. I was just working on like this one project that was literally. I have this massive whiteboard in my office. I was just drawing on the whiteboard, sending it to the developers. Drawing on the whiteboard, sending it to the developers. Right, and that was the worst 2 years of my life because our business literally tanked. Um, it was horrible because we had no momentum. There was nothing happening, and I will never let that. I told myself I'll never let that happen again. Like, I will always be building. In fact, for 2024, my goal is to focus on community, right? So like, I've been like, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, start detaching yourself from your customers. What ends up happening is you start losing the community because you are the community, right? So for me, my goal for 2024 is to get back into the community. Like, we just opened a brand new school group, and shifting all of our live members. We have like 7,000 people in our Facebook group. Shifting whatever's live or alive in there over into our school groups. In the last couple of days, we ported over like 500 members in there, and I'm just active in there. I'm posting. We're posting videos. We're posting content. We started obviously this new podcast recently, so podcasts are going to be dripping once a week, and then we're going to be doing webinars every 2 weeks. So like, my face is going to be continuously out, and for me, like, this whole I'm in my office, right? So we have a full blown video studio, and I told myself, I was like, for me to, and you can probably relate to this, and I was like, for me to go and shoot a 1 hour webinar, for some reason takes 6 hours. Why does it take so, like, I go into the studio and it's like pre-production, it's like getting set up, things are not working and we have to start fixing things, then we shoot the webinar, right? And then it's like post cleaning everything. It's like, it was so much of a headache for me every time I wanted to shoot a video ad or shoot a podcast. So what I decided to do was, I literally took the some of the equipment and I basically put it into my office, and I simplified the shit out of everything. I was like, I'm just gonna get a mic, I'm gonna get a headset, I'm gonna put some backdrops with a light or whatever, and I'm not even using any of our 4K cameras or anything like that. I'm using like a Link 360 or whatever they call it, right? And I'm like, dude, now every time I want to shoot a video, I want to shoot a podcast, I want to do a training, I want to do everything, I don't move. I just hit the play button, I do it, and when I'm done, I just back to where I'm at, right? So that was one of the biggest things that allowed me to create a lot of content fast without having to jump into the studio every single time, because it's lingering, it's chaotic, and I hate it, honestly. So that's
Yeah.
for me. For the listeners out there, if you're dealing with that, like, change the scenery up a little bit.
I totally agree with that. And I've actually been starting to make the same exact move because, like, I have this green screen back here and the camera and all that stuff. And I'll set up all the lights and make it look all perfect. And then I'll shoot stuff. But to get to that point where I'm finally shooting something and I'm
It's
happy with it,
crazy.
and, I got my teleprompter set up and all these things, it takes hours to get it set up right. And then, like, in the weeks following, like, the lights get moved around. I have four
Yeah, there
kids.
you
Sometimes,
go.
things just get messed up, things get
Yep.
unplugged, whatever. And I'm like, oh, my studio just fell apart. And so now I'm doing the same exact thing that you just said. I just bought a green screen that's going to go directly behind me. I'm going to sit right here and go on this camera right here. Like, I'm not going to have to move because,
It's the best, bro.
yeah,
It's the
it's because I was
best.
having a hard time too, where it's like, if I wanted to create social media content, I have to set up all this stuff and it just takes forever. And so, but if I can just sit here, if I'm inspired, I have an idea, I'll just flick on my camera where I'm sitting right now, record a video, and put it up online, right? And so, yeah, the
It,
the
it's
simpler,
changed the game for me, man. Like, I
yeah,
did this setup, I don't know, like less than a month ago, like maybe 3 4 weeks ago, right? And the first day I sat down, like after I finally get everything set up and built out, I sat down, and my ads person is like, hey, we need some videos. I was like, all right, cool. I sat down and shot, it was videos within 4 hours.
Nice.
18
Yeah.
videos within 4 hours. And then I just continued my day. Right. And I did this yesterday. I came in the morning. He's like, I need more ads for whatever this specific campaign or whatever it is. 5 ads shot within like an hour, and then went on with my day. So it's like, for me, what I think the biggest realization that I've been having is, once you simplify things, because people don't care if I'm in the studio or if I'm here. They really don't give a shit. What they care about is the content, and they're here for the value. They don't care what where I am, right? So I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to simplify it and produce more content and make it simpler for myself and less chaotic.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, I mean your setup looks good. I mean, it's not like Grant Cardone, doesn't look great,
Yeah.
right? With all the screens and things going on, but like doesn't need to. I mean,
Yeah,
I
we don't
think
need that. We have that in our studio,
yeah.
but I'm telling you, I would rather come in here. That if I did this podcast, which is 30-45 minutes, if I did this podcast in the studio, it would kill half of my day and half of one of my employees' days, because they're in there in the production room on the cameras, and we
Mhm.
broadcast using, I don't even know what from, like an OBS or something like that, whatever, because we used
Yeah.
to like broadcast and record, right? So like, you need somebody there manning the equipment at the same time too. So it's not worth it for me. It's really not, unless we
Yeah.
do like big events. If we're doing like we just did our Funnel Freedom Challenge, which is like, it's like a 5 day event, 20 speakers or something. Then we set up the whole studio, the lighting, we get all that stuff in there. From if I'm shooting a course, like we just shot a course, so we did the setup where it's like white table, big whiteboard with a camera like facing down, so you can, in one camera up front face, one camera up top, and switching between the two, like just a really cool like vibe, especially for if you're watching it. So like stuff like that I'll go into the studio for, but 90% of the stuff I shoot, I'm in here.
Yeah.
I'm not
I
moving.
love it. Yeah, no, I mean it's funny. I've shot videos on my smartphone in my office when even though I have all this nice equipment, and sometimes those videos will outperform all the other ones.
Yeah.
It's just the craziest thing.
Yeah.
So
For the recent challenge that we did, our Funnel Freedom Challenge, we did a bunch of ads for it. I must have shot like 15 ads, shot ads with the teleprompter in the studio. I shot at Loom videos. I shot like a bunch of different combination of different ads. And the ad that I literally, it was me walking from my car to the office just with my phone like this talking, crushed all of the other ads. We just raw. It was crazy. It was insane. Maybe it was the demographic we were targeting is like, up and coming, startups, right? Like people that were like looking to start a business and use funnels, to build their business. And but dude, it crushed it. Like that was the one that took off, and we just scaled that out. It was crazy.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, so like viewers, don't over complex. Don't make it complex. I don't know. Don't over confuse things. Just make it simple. Produce content. But anyways, I know we're kind of running out of time here. So Kevin, any last words you'd like to say to the audience here?
no, I think I pretty much already said it. Not to beat a dead horse, but if you're sitting there wondering why more things aren't happening, just build more stuff. One of my favorite quotes by Eileen Wilder. If you don't know who she is, look her up. She says, "The offer you don't make, no one can take." And that means obviously building more stuff, but creating offers out of thin air and putting them out there into the world. I mean, even if it's like making a Facebook post and asking people, "Hey, comment if you're interested in this or whatever."
Yep.
I've done that so many times in my business. I did it in December, right when the holidays were about to hit. I had this idea. I was like, I want to make this course on how to do movie trailer style ads, which is what we do all the time in our agency. So I put a course together, made a quick, $10,000 on that. It's just like it's like had I not put literally,
Throw the hook out. You just
yeah,
have
if
to
I had
throw the
not
hook
put
out,
that
man.
post on Facebook, then nothing would have happened and I wouldn't
Yep.
have made $10,000. So it's like the things that you're not putting out there are costing you money every single day. So
I
just do
love it,
more
dude.
stuff, build more stuff. Even if it doesn't work, doesn't mean you suck, doesn't mean you're a failure. Sometimes they don't work. I mean, I'm sure Chad can say that too. Like things don't work sometimes and that's
Ninety
okay.
percent of the stuff we do doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, but there's definitely a high percentage of stuff that doesn't work. So yeah, I
Hmm.
agree with you on that. You just got to keep iterating, keep trying. In fact, what's funny is sometimes things that don't work, if you just tweak them, they'll work like crazy, right? Like one of the best offers that we have that we've been selling for 2 years. It's a $9.97 product. when we launched it, nobody bought it, and we were just going to tank it. And then we just started tweaking some of the things that basically was in the product, and we tweaked some stuff on the landing page and who we were offering it to, and it's our number one seller, right? So like just keep just keep reiterating, trying stuff, tweaking, optimizing. That's what it's all about, man.
Absolutely.
But anyways, Kevin, thank you so much for having us. Hopefully we'll see you here in the future on the Behind the Revenue podcast. Looking forward to having you on again here soon and seeing some future growth for you. So all the best to you. Thank you so much. And if the viewers want to reach out to you, where's the best place that they can go?
You just go to my website, www.kevinanson.com, or our website for our agency is, for some reason, you have to enter the W's. I don't know. I got to fix that in my domain settings, but www.adsoffire.com.
Love it, man. Thank you so much, guys, and everybody have a good day. Hey, do you want more of the Behind the Revenue podcast? Look, join our private Facebook group where marketing agencies from all over the world are sharing strategies, network, and scale their businesses together. Visit facebook.com/groups/DashClicks to get instant access. And also, if this podcast helped you in any way, please do me a favor, share it with friends, leave us a review on iTunes or Spotify. That really helps build our community.